Hey everyone, Coach Stefan, Rudolph, coming to you straight from Recovered Coaching here on a beautiful Sunday up in Riverside, California, visiting a friend of mine and thinking about life and everything that we're going through and growing through right now with all this change and obstacles in life and things that are going on with all of us that have affected all of us in one way or another. This is coming to you straight from a friend's gravesite. Forgive me while I set this up here. And just came to mind today because when I woke up, it was his 97, I believe it was. Yeah, 97. So 32 years ago. Let me do the math. 22 years ago. Getting a little old, but he died in a DUI accident, my friend Tim Castillo. And I think of him every 322 that comes up. And I'll never forget that day, 22 years ago when a friend of ours called and told me he had gotten into a DUI accident and died that night. It was a Friday night. He had asked me to go out with him even. And luckily, since I was recently married at the time, had a wife who loved me and was helping me transition to the area of dealing with less and less alcohol in life, going out less and less and partying less and less, although my drinking didn't subside in my life. But it was one decision that probably literally saved my life. I mean, things would have been different. I even felt guilty by not going out there with him because I thought things would have been different. He would have been driving one way, or maybe I would have been driving. We would have gone somewhere else. But when I was offered to go to that party with him that Friday night, my wife said, "Nope, you're not going." And, we get in a little argument, but she was right. Alcohol, drinking and driving, things that I used to do in high school and even in college, were not mixing anymore. So this is some time period where I was very blessed to have that security in my life and someone telling me, that she loves me, she doesn't want me to go. And I got that call the next morning from a friend of ours, and that Tim had lost control and gone head on with a tree and lost his life. And I was speechless. It was the first close friend I've ever lost. And it was somebody that had been a really good friend at that time too, up until from high school all the way on. And that's what set me on a path to realize how fast life can be. At the time, I was 26 years old. Some people realize this when they're 16, 14, 12, whatever. Something happens where a loved one is gone like that and your life changes. Now, me growing up in a very small family with a single mother, no siblings, the closest people in my life were my friends. And Tim was pretty close, even though he didn't go. I went to college. We were apart about 5 years. We kept in touch back in the day on phones and stuff like that. But he came up to a party one time. I went to Chico State in Northern California, and him and a friend Frank and some others that used to come up too. But this one time, Tim and Frank came up, and we had the best time of my college career because it was friends from high school. It was the party times. It was what I always lived for from high school on. It was like the party life that I was stuck in and sucked into. But, not only the addiction, I'm saying part of it, but it was like I wanted that friendship, the bonding in my life. And I got that through alcohol. And when Tim died a few years later from that college time, the partying that I did, getting married, settling down somewhat sort of in life from age 24, 25 on, Tim was still there. He gave me one of the best wedding gifts. It was a huge candle, one of those really nice candles that you never want to burn. So it was always in my life for about 10 years. And I have a picture of it I'm going to post on here too of the memorial part of it, what it meant to me. Point is, coming to you from a coaching standpoint, life coaching, recovery coaching, alcohol, drugs, related areas of escapism, especially right now with the economy falling under and everything going, no one working, no one doing anything. People were asking me, aren't you staying inside today? I said, well, no, this is my quarantine, so to speak. This is the area where not too many people are around today. And it's an area where we have to think about life too and how quickly life can go. These areas are connected with me because of the epilepsy I went through and the many, I would say hundreds if not thousands of times I had small molecule seizures. And for those epileptics out there that know what a true small molecule seizure is, the feelings that I had connected were the feelings that a grand mal seizure was going to come on. So it caused anxiety, it caused stress, It caused knots in my stomach, the tingling down the arms. On a scale of 1 to 10, that would be a 2 or a 3. 4 or 5, I couldn't speak right. Start slapping your mouth together because your dry cotton mouth sets in. A 5 or 6 or a 7 would be unable to speak, dizziness, thinking I'm talking to somebody and looking at them, looking at me like I'm a ghost because I can't speak directly, because the words that were coming out were just gibberish, and it would scare them. And that was basically a seizure, a small seizure, so not a grand mal, but really kind of just blanking out for a while, maybe 30 seconds, maybe a minute, but it really felt like death. Each and every time these small mals came on, I said I dealt with death over 1,000 plus times. It's like if anyone has ever experienced death or come close to death out there in the areas, maybe a car accident or you just something happened in life where you almost died. That's what that feeling was. This nausea came on, like, oh my God, I'm going to die, getting sick, anxiety, stress. And 30 seconds, sometimes a minute, it would go away. And that feeling would come and go. So I felt this death feeling those times. And the grand mal seizures, I don't remember. You know, the small mals would come on, the grand mals would hit. I probably had a dozen grand mals in my life. 2 were epileptic car accidents. This part is related because I would wake up and not know my name, not know where I am, not know what happened. The ambulance, usually paramedics, were asking me, who are you? You know, where are you at? Keep asking me the same question. You know, what day is it? What year is it? Who's president? This, that. And finally, after, a couple minutes, everything starts coming back. This is connected to my reason coming to you here today is understanding about life and how quickly we forget how quick it will go. And all of a sudden I'm 49 and lost this friend 23 years ago now. And to think that it was just yesterday. And I know that in one way or another, people listening, especially with epilepsy or addiction or everyone's dealt with the loss of a loved one or friends or something in life. What we have is what we gain, and what we lose, we have to look at it as more of a gain too, because Tim taught me a great lesson in life is, not to take life for granted. He was very, his words right here, son, brother, friend, and soulmate, and basically very spiritual. I'm just reading some of this information, but soulmate is a good key word. He was along the spiritual lines. He was a massage artist, too, a massage therapist too, and he was in the areas of helping other people and just getting his business going, just getting things going in life. So he helped a lot of people, and he helped heal them, basically, make them feel better at the time. And the more I connected with him later in life of what he did back then and what I didn't really resonate with on a conscious level, but more subconsciously, like he planted a seed of spirituality, of positivity, of growth, of always looking at the negative as a positive and overcoming obstacles. And so he was a great friend in my life, but also, I would say, a spiritual mentor to understand about meditation, what I'm doing here, prayer, different things of coming to one with yourself. And especially right now with the economy and what's happened is people are running frantic. Of course, you lose your job, you have no income. And luckily, in a crazy way though, I've gone through this. I was literally homeless 5 years ago. And also on this, just DUIs, as everybody knows, maybe on my story, or it's the first time you're listening to it. I've been sober 7.5 years now. Had multiple DUIs, had jail, institution for basically losing my mind one time because of all the medication I was on and trying to incorporate alcohol into that, and 2 hernia surgeries, a pulmonary embolism, going through a lot of stuff in my life. So much of it was related to what I had to connect with in life was the understanding that life is short, and we know that, but all of a sudden you're 18, you think you know everything. You're 28, I was married, a successful pharmaceutical career, houses, things that were going on were great. By 38, homeless, lost everything, cars, houses, wife, job, everything. As I mentioned, multiple DUIs, epilepsy and alcoholism. Blew up. Brain surgery did not work in 2007. Up to that point, I had 2 DUIs. After that point, I had 2 more DUIs. So some of this hits home as I get kind of emotional thinking about Tim, because the seed that he planted helped me later in life, after I sobered up, at the point where I wanted to sober up, but I couldn't stop. The addiction had taken over, and I had to stop, but I couldn't stop. Coulda, shoulda, woulda. And basically, Tony Robbins says I should all over myself. And I should all over myself. I should have done this. I should have done that. I shouldn't have been drinking, driving. I could have easily died in multiple, probably dozens of instances throughout my life. But this last time, October 9th, 2012, got into a car accident drinking and driving. Not anything major, but I could have killed this lady if it was just a few feet difference, and my 4x4 went over her hood as she was turning right, and if she was out about 10 more feet, I'd still be in prison right now for killing somebody, just like Tim died. So coming to you in a kind of a lengthy post here on YouTube, but an understanding that physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually are all the areas to focus on in life. Financially, I was there. I had an A+ in life. I was successful, pharmaceutical careers, I mentioned everything, but I was not happy. I was looking for that escapism. So even at this time in the financial part of our distraught, or of what's going on in our nation or our world, and disease and problems, mindset, focus, heart, passion, action in these areas. In between is a mouthful of excuses, I say. So understand that what happened today, my passion, when I woke up, I wanted to see Tim's grave. My mind was like, let's do it, take action, excuses in the middle. But the coronavirus is going on, this and that, it's supposed to be in your house, supposed to be doing this. I just said, nope, no more excuses. Excuses be gone is what Wayne Dyer taught me. But I say excuse the excuses out of your life. So I excuse that. I recognize that you're never going to get rid of these excuses, that talk, that ego that says, don't do this, don't do that. I accepted the ego for what it is. I've already done that, and not too hard on myself, telling myself I love myself in the mornings, because sometimes I get up and I'm looking at myself, I should be stronger, I should be less fat, less belly, less this, more this. It's always going on in the ego. It's never good enough. Well, it is good enough here. We have to tell ourselves, living from the heart, living with heart every day, to take action in the mind to overcome these obstacles and to be the best person you can be, no matter what you're going through and growing through right now. So again, it connects back to the financial problems that we're having right now. I know with everybody connected in one way or another that's affected by this, and then also in the fear that we have of this dis-ease going on. The society and the world is not at ease. It never will be, of course, but this dis-ease that is going around is causing major distraught and anxiety and problems in a lot of us. So take your time to meditate, to do your own yoga. I got my yoga mat out here. I got things that are trying to help me remember about life and about Tim himself, and understanding, you know, what he went through, not to forget him, and to grow above and beyond our circumstances when it comes to overcoming obstacles and being the strongest man, woman, young woman you can be in life, and never giving up. I've said it before and I'll say it again. It's more like Control Alt Delete. Reset your mind, reset your life. Don't let other things going on around you affect you inside. Be the master of your own universe, and understand that you have to be able to stay positive. Even though there's going to be negativity, accept the negativity, be thankful for it, and be understanding that this does happen for a reason. And this reason, major reason, major catastrophe going on right now in the world, is here for us to grow. So we have to grow inside and out. So check me out on my website, recoveredcoaching.com. Follow my channel, pass it on to more people. Understand that we are here for a reason. Stay focused, stay positive. It's Coach Stefan, Rudolph. Having a blessed day and a blessed life. I want you to do the same. Peace.